Welcome back to the Order of the Dragons, and today we're going to be doing another Conqueror's Blade update video. There has been a major patch of 350 megabytes. This is the first major patch since the beginning of the release of Open Beta. They've added a lot of new things. They added a new unit line. They've balanced a lot of the classes. They even fixed the skill page issue. They've added tons of new fief quests and tons of new balancing, just help making your life easier in the game. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's first talk about the Chivalric units, the new unit tree that's been recently added to the game. This unit tree has been in the game since the beginning, since the Siege test. They've just only recently removed them from this past CBT and OBT, I believe. So let's first talk about the Demesne Spearman. What's really good about the Demesne Spearman is that they're very similar in performance to the Iron Cap Spearman, but they're a chivalric era rather than a silver era, so they require less honor to get. So they only require 2,000 honor to recruit, but the Iron Cap requires 7,500 because they're in a silver era. While the Demesne Spearman is a 2.5 star, as the Iron Cap Spearman is a 3-star, the Demesne Spearman are not as good as the Iron Cap Spearman, but they perform very similar on the field. But what's really good about the Demesne Spearman is that it requires less leadership than the Iron Cap Spearman. The Iron Cap Spearman requires 180 leadership, while the Demesne Spearman requires 145 leadership. So it's a very good, effective defense unit that you want to have on the field when you don't have enough, let's say, enough defense on the field. So you're able to use this. If you don't have enough honor to get the Iron Caps, you can use the Demesne Spearman to fill in that spot so you still have a good defensive unit on the field. The Spear Sergeants, what's really good about the Spear Sergeants is that it's better than the Iron Cap Spearman, but it's still a silver era. It's also better than the, if we go over here to metal, it's also better than the Imperial Spear Guards, which is heroic, which requires 15,000 honor, but it's still better. But the main issue with this one is that the Imperial Spear Guards requires 255 leadership, but the Spear Sergeants requires 270 leadership. So it's one of those units that it's really easy to get, but requires an insane amount of leadership to put them on the field. So this is one of the classes that you just, let's say, you really need a strong defensive unit on the field, but it's gonna require an insane amount of leadership to actually put it on the field. The Squires and the Men-at-Arms are very similar to the Prefecture Guards and the Palace Guards stat-wise, but they have different formations, orders, and veterancy bonuses. The Squires have changed a bit. They removed one of the formations from them, but made them a main charging unit, whereas the Prefecture Guards are a direct attacking unit. If we look at the veterancy bonuses, we can find out why. On the Squires, we can see that they have tons of charging cooldown upgrades. As well, they do not have many unit orders, but only the charge order. If we look at the Prefecture Guards, they also have a charge order, but they also have the Prefecture Drill. Prefecture Drill is a stat boost skill that increases all of the stats of the unit and also increases their speed. If we look at their veterancy bonuses, there are no charge cooldown upgrades, but they have the Prefecture Drill cooldowns and many upgrades that help to improve the Prefecture Drill skill. I would say the Prefecture Guards outperform the Squires in many areas as they have the charge cooldown and the Prefecture Drill skill. So I would definitely say they're much better than the Squires in everything. The Men-at-Arms and the Palace Guards are very similar. They both are a more of a cover commander / defensive unit. They both have charge and a shield wall skill, so there's not that many differences between them. They're very similar in stats. They're both heroic era, but I would say the Men-at-Arms is better than the Palace Guards as they have more variety and trying to upgrade the veterancy bonuses, whereas the Palace Guards have 2 lines of upgrade. The Men-at-Arms have 3 lines to choose from, so you have more variety in deciding what exactly you want. But both of them, like I said, have the shield wall skill, as well as they also have the charge skill, but they do not have any like charge cooldown skills. So they're, like I said, they're mainly a defensive unit. The Monastic Knights are very similar to the Winged Hussars, but the Winged Hussars have many more veterancy bonuses, but the Monastic Knights are just really easier to get. See, the Monastic Knights have half of this, but it's also extremely easy to get as they doesn't require any research upgrades to get the Monastic Knights. But the Winged Hussars requires all of these and this to get to them. So it requires an insane amount of honor to get the Winged Hussars, but the Winged Hussars are going to be 100% better than the Monastic Knights when you receive the Winged Hussars. So the Winged Hussars are an insanely good, same as the Chivalric Lancers. The Chivalric Lancers have a different veterancy bonuses. They have more veterancy bonuses than the Winged Hussars. I would say the Chivalric Lancers could be better than the Winged Hussars, but I can't say that as I have never received them or seen them on the field of battle. But it all depends of which one. They're going to be about the similar in stat and but they have different looks. And what's really good about the Chivalric Lancers is that they changes unit appearance, so they look much better when you go this route. So there's a lot of differences between the chivalric units and the previous units, but the chivalric units are just easier to get, but they are not as good as the other units besides the Demesne Spearmen and the Spear Sergeants.
Now that we're done with the new unit tree, let's go ahead and talk about the minor things that they've added to the game to really help improve your gaming experience overall, just really to make your life easier. So the first thing that they've added into the thing was new tutorial quests. And these tutorial quests, there's quite a few of them that they've added, but these tutorial quests, in them, they give you a lot of materials. They give you a lot of basic gear to help you start out in the game, but they also show you, in the past they didn't, a lot of the craft, how to craft and all this stuff, they didn't show you in the past how to do that. Now, with these new tutorial quests, they'll tell you how to craft your gear, how to salvage your gear, how to craft artillery and all that stuff. So it's really, really cool how they've done that. Now that you guys can still watch my guides, but if you didn't watch my guides, you should be able to figure out everything that you need to do now with the new tutorial quest system. Another thing that they've really cool thing that they've added to the game is random skill page chest is now changed. In the past, you would have randomly got a skill page tossed to you. You could be Nodachi and you receive a dual blade skill page, and it's just a random chance to get the right skill page you need. Now what they've done is that when you open these chests, you get the skill page for that specific class. So that's a very useful thing that they've done. Because it says here, random skill page chest will allow players to choose any skill page when open. The amount of skill pages within the current reward pool has been increased. So there's a lot of cool changes that they've done for the skill pages to allow you to be able to get your ultimates besides having to wait at the auction house and sit there for a couple hours just waiting to purchase a proper skill page. Another cool thing that they just recently brought back to the game was the Smuggler. The Smuggler was the guy during the Siege Chest and the early CBTs that you could go up to and purchase all of your hero crafting supplies and craft all your gear. Before this update, in the past couple CBTs and the early beginning of the OBT, the Smuggler was just there. You're able to go to him and he'll just say good day to you. You wouldn't be able to do anything. Now that they've done it, you can actually talk to him now. Go to Smuggler Goods and spend 100 silver purchasing a piece of wood, bolt of cloth, piece of leather, scrap iron, and scrap copper. This is, I guess, a very handy way if you really need that extra, like 1 or 2 scrap copper and you don't feel like salvaging any more of your gear. You can purchase that and you can go ahead and just craft your gear from there. But I wouldn't recommend doing this. I would just recommend scrapping all of your gear that you do not need, because 100 silver is quite a lot, especially when you're like, you know what, I just need all this. I'm going to purchase everything from the smuggler. So if you need 20 scrap iron, that's 100 each, so that's 2,000 silver, and that's going to go down pretty fast on silver if you don't have a lot of silver. So I would still not recommend doing the smuggler, even though it has been added to the game. Another nice thing that they've added to the game to make our life a lot easier is that they lowered the material cost for the gear. Before and now still, is that our gear will lower in durability quite fast after a lot of battles, and so we would have to constantly keep crafting new gear just to keep up with the pace with our current gear. So nice of them to do that is that we would run out of materials quite fast. Now that they've changed that, is that they lower the cost of the materials to craft the gear. Now it's not as difficult for us to keep up with the pace of our durability lowering, so we can actually keep on continuously crafting that gear. Still, we still have to get over the schematics in the game. I don't know if they've changed much about that, but all they've really changed was how much materials it costs to actually craft it. It has always been one schematic, but hopefully in the future they change the durability in general, because a lot of people just don't like that, how we have some weird durability that our gear can actually completely break. Or what they should do is just lower the durability loss after each battle. Another thing that they've just recently fixed that I know a lot of people have been waiting for is the matchmaking problems. There's been a lot of problems of level 20s versus level 100s, but with this new system that they've just added, the bracket system, hopefully that fixes that issue. So you have the first stage, which is the newbie stage, and then you have the second stage, which is the veteran stage. And anybody from the newbie stage will versing all the newbies, but anybody from the veteran stage will reversing anybody from the veteran stage. So how these brackets are going to be working, brackets will merge if the system is unable to match a viable game with a certain time period. So if there's not enough people trying to play in bracket number 1 for 0 to 20, then you will be put into bracket 2 of level 21 versus 29. Same thing with if there's not enough people for 21 or 21 and you're level 20, you'll be put into level 30 to 45, hopefully finding you a game for that. So this is how they're designing their matchmaking system, and I think this will really, really help out in trying to queue up for a viable match that you can have fun and be successful in. So thank you, my.com, for fixing this. Now that the game has been out for a little while, they have recently added new attire to the cash shop. First, we have the Empyrean Order attire set. Then we have the Eagle Knight attire set, and then the Solar Order attire set. All these 3 attires look actually pretty decent, nice. I don't really like this one, but I really do like the Solar Order attire set. The Eagle Knight attire set, I think, would be really good for the Ranger, which is most likely what they designed it for, or the Dual Blade. It has a lot of color to it. It seems like they've worked harder on this one rather than the other ones, but I still prefer the Solar Order attire set. It has that really nice feel to it, especially if I want to play as a longsword and shield. Ooh, and another thing that they've recently added to the game that I've been waiting for a while is the weapon skins. The weapon skins are quite awesome. Okay, so if we look at the Honor Guard ceremony thing, it looks pretty damn nice. And it fits the Solar attire set right here. And then you have the Crescent Blade, Moon Blade. It's like this real bloody glaive, and it looks pretty damn cool. And then you have the Knight Banneret Heraldry, which is pretty damn cool as well. And I think that'll works also well with this one. Then we have the 1,000 Souls Nodachi, is another red sort of blood demon blade. I've tried to open these, but I do not know why it will not allow me. I do not have these 2 unlocked in my skills unit, my skills. So I don't know why it won't let me view it. It will let me view the other ones, but it won't let me view that one. But that's those. And then we have the Brass Dragon Firelock. I think all these weapon skins currently are just like this red sort of cool little skin color and stuff like that. So it looks pretty. I just noticed. There's no hole. Oh, okay. And then you have that same with that one. I can't for somebody who can't view it. But then we have the Immerstein short bow. Looks pretty damn cool. It's a little purple sort of bow. And then we have the Fiery Wrath daggers. These are pretty damn cool as well. So I think a lot of the things that they're adding, they're slowly but surely they're adding new content, new skins, new cool things to look at and get. And hopefully in the future we have a lot of options and a lot of different people out on the field with different types of costumes and stuff like that. So that would be really damn cool for that. Another thing, they did not add any more horse attire, but what they did add other than the horse attire is new unit costumes. Before they have the Golden Sun Mercenary and the Fleur de Lis, but they've added these two called the Faraz Corpse attire for the units, and then the Eagle Guard attire. So that's really damn cool. And also, talking about attire, another nice, cool thing that they've just recently put back in the game, where a lot of people requested, is that when we click on our unit, right? And we want to equip attire, before we would not be able to equip any of the Templar Knight Unitar, the Fleur de Lis, because these were for horses only. Right now, we can't use this item because it's a horse, so we can't equip it. But now that they've changed that, you are able to equip any sort of costume attire for any unit. It's not just a single, you don't use specific unit attire for that thing. Now you can use all the unit attire for every single unit. So I think that's really cool because I can put this on the archers. I can put any of these on the archers and it'll be effective. So that's really cool on how they've done that. Okay, let's go ahead and start talking about the balancing for the classes that they've recently done. All the patch notes that are in this video, you can go ahead and check the patch notes down in the link in the description. But as you can see here, Nodachi, Longbow, Glaive, and Dual Blades are the only 4 classes that they've changed for the class balancing. There hasn't been much change for Longbow or Glaive, but Nodachi and Dual Blade has gotten a, I guess, pretty decent change, where Nodachi's basic damage is increased. It also gets a passive life drain, but they lowered Tiger's Claw skill health regeneration because they added that passive thing to balance out the thing. You don't want too much HP because you have that passive, which also gives you HP, and Tiger's Claw also gives you tons of HP too, so they debuffed Tiger's Claw so that it would be balancing out with life drain. Dragon's Leap, I don't use Dragon's Leap. I don't know exactly what Dragon's Leap is. I do main Nodachi, but that's not something that I use. So they said to remove the speed acceleration upon hitting the target. I don't know exactly what's that for, but the Longbow didn't really increase much, buff much. All it did was the staggering time has reduced by 30%, and the arrow speed has been increased by 37%. So it basically allows you to knock people off the horses and stop people in their tracks and stuff like that when you hit the target. Glaive, it was just one of the skills increased in some of the damage. It was an extra 100 to 200% of damage. For adding on from 511%. So yeah, it's increased quite a bit from what it was before. So that's pretty good. Dual Blades. Before during the beginning of the OBT, they removed a skill called the Duskin Paw. The Duskin Paw was a dash forward and flippity over the enemy and stabbity stab and knock down, and he stuns for a little bit. Now they've changed it up to I guess a dash kick in the bone, or it was either just a kick in the bone. I haven't seen the skill yet, but as you can see, the Duskin skill Paul has been reworked and re-added back to the game. Now when you use it, you kick the enemy's head, dealing some damage and stunning them for 1.5 seconds. It most likely is not a dash anymore. They probably removed that, but as you can see here, it kicks him in the jawbone, and he gets stunned for 1.5 seconds. So I think that's pretty damn cool. So let's go ahead and go over to the unit changes. There's been a lot of unit balancing. I know a lot of people were complaining about the Prefecture Pikemen, so this is what they did. They lowered the charge damage But they've also gave a gesture before accelerating towards the enemy. So that's pretty cool. It's maybe give them a death gesture and they just charge forward and kill the enemy. That's pretty nice. And then you have all the cavalry. They've increased the cavalry's health and the damage by a little bit. So like, it's not like major, but they did increase it by a little bit because people's cavalry were dying too fast, and it's been like this for a very long time. But during the CBTs, the cavalry would just die extremely fast, so they're pretty much practically useless because you would have to get tons of horses and all this stuff. Now that they have a semi more amount of health, they'll survive a little bit longer so that you don't have to go out continuously and keep resupplying them with expensive horses. So that's a really cool thing for all the balancing that they've recently added to the game.
Last but not least, let's go ahead and talk about the minor UI changes to the game. They're a pretty cool thing that they've added is called a military rank system, and players above level 60 and above, because 60 is the hard cap and none of your stats will change up that. That's what they've basically done for all the people that have played the game for an insanely large amount of time. I have not seen these changes. I've been going in duels and stuff like that. The only thing that I've seen for the level changes is 60 plus. That's all I see. Instead of a big level that I see on when I see them in front of me, all I see is 60 plus. I do not see any sort of icon around their level per se. Like I don't see any of these icons. This is probably something they're gonna add in the future, though they said they activated it, so I do not know. Another small UI change that they did that I've noticed is that they've changed up the house recruitment system. Whereas before it would be next to members and you click on it and you click on accept or refuse over here to the left or right. Now they've put it down to the bottom left and put it in fief control, as well as you can, on the requests here, you can click on here and accept or refuse all of your members. You could also, and they showed tax rates and house announcements, all that stuff. That's pretty cool. Now we have house announcement. Hey, so you can just save and send a house announcement. I do not know. There's the standing notice, and then there's a house announcement. The standing notice used to be called the house announcement, but I guess they've changed it up where you are able to do a pretty big, long, more than what it was before, so you can type out and they'll post it in your house chat. So that's pretty neat because every single time, this was the most I could do on this is the most I could do for a house announcement where it's at currently, but they changed it up. You're able to do it a lot more, so that's very good that they've done that. A very good change. Another couple neat UI changes that they've recently added to the game is that before we did not have copy and paste. Now we are able to copy anything from the chat. If we see, let's say, a Discord link, we're able to copy that Discord link just by doing that, and then Control-C and then pasting it in our browser page, note page, wherever we want to paste it. So that's really damn cool that they have added in there, because that'll become major and handy. You also can copy the standing notice, as well as you are able to copy the anything from the house announcement, which in the house announcement will appear in the house chat down here to the bottom right. So it will pop up around here in the house chat, and you're able to copy and anything from the house announcement as well. So it's a very handy thing that they put in there if we need to go to Twitch links, YouTube links, other random links that people put out there, which I wouldn't trust it, but it's like just there. It's very handy in how they have done that. Another neat thing that they've done is that they've added a way for you to tell the difference between how much basic XP would get without the premium thing. So they've changed the positions from the instead of having like plus 30% next to it, what they've done is that you see the basic XP and then you see the premium XP next to it. So that's a pretty little neat handy thing if you want to determine how much a normal XP you would get without getting the premium. But yeah, that's about it for that.
Another neat thing that they've added to the game is added a sort of a description to the class when you're trying to create your character. It'll talk about how they have just give a little small little description, and then it'll have your what armor it uses, the best armor it uses, and then it talks about the primary attributes and the difficulty. I would not trust the primary attributes as in my explanations and my class explanations and all the comments that people are asking, like, what stats do I use? Depending on the skills is what determines what primary attribute that you're going to need. On the dual blade, it says primary attributes is agility, but it uses a lot more slashing, does a lot more slashing damage rather than piercing damage. So the best thing would be going 2/3 in strength and 1/3 in agility. Also, don't be afraid when you look at the difficulty, because difficulty on dual blades isn't that difficult at all. I've seen some people master this class and go around annihilating people, especially in duels. Like this class is when you get the hang of it, it is pretty easy to use. I would not say it is a very difficult class. I really enjoy this class. Even though I main Nodachi, Dual Blades is an extremely fun class to use. So Nodachi is I would say is one of a pretty difficult one. Glaive is a pretty easy to use per se, but in PvP, to do the best in PvP, it is very difficult to do. So I don't trust this difficulty thing, because it says 2 stars on Glaive, and it could actually be extremely difficult for certain people. So it just really depends on the person. Nodachi could be Nodachi is super easy to use, but other people be like, no, it's super difficult to use. So it just depends on the person and how their experience on it, what they use, what they do in the game, like what skill sets they use, and do they dodge, do they block, do they, so it depends on personal experience for each individual class. I think that's about it for all the major updates and the updates that we really need to talk about. There are a couple bug fixes that they've done. There's quite a few bug fixes, but it's not really bugs that we would really talk about. It's just mainly UI bug fixes and graphical bug fixes. It's not something major like they fix the entire Rebels and stuff like that. Once they do fix all entire Rebels, I'll definitely be doing a video on that, because that stuff really needs to be fixed. I've been waiting for that stuff to get fixed for a very long time. But also, the Beastmaster pack, if you guys want to support me and also get a hold of your a pack with the Warrior Elephant, this is the only way you're able to get the Beastmaster pack, is by using my code, TOFTD, or any of their content creator codes of your favorite, the content creator you support. You can put that in there. You can click on the link in the description, type in the code that you want to put in there, minus TOFTD, and then there's other codes for other people that you can use, and then you can purchase and type in your message and send them a little thank you message or whatever, and they'll receive it on their donations alerts or whatever. But anyways, thank you guys for stopping by for this Conqueror's Blade update video. I really enjoy your support, and again, we are not recruiting anymore. I posted a comment on that. We're not recruiting. The house is currently sort of disbanding in game. We're merging with one of the houses in our alliance, but that's pretty much it for that. Discord is always going to be down in the description if you want to help me out on YouTube, or just join the community in general, as well as we play other games and other games we want to move to. There's many other games that we want to move to. I'm not just in the future when new games come out. I'm planning to be the type of guy that's going to put guides for new games that come out. There's games like Air that's coming out. There's games like Astelia. There's games like Lost Ark. There's a game called Oath that I've been looking forward to. So there's many other games that are coming out. Just hopefully they come out in a, say, like month-to-month basis, so I'm able to actually put guides out for that one thing, so I don't have to play 2 games at once, like to get all that stuff. Because I do want to perform. I do want to do stuff with the house. I can't just be doing videos all the time. So, but anyways, again, thank you guys for stopping by, and I'll see you guys in the next Conqueror's Blade update video.